Fred Hammond. I know this probably won't monetize. Look at how long the song is. So then that's on here. Okay, my screenshot isn't right. It doesn't give the right time. It gives the current time. So nonetheless, you see 2025, anyone? I communicated this the other day. I've had to endure years. And then someone else left a comment, 2025. Let me show you. I'll just go in it so you can see that I'm actually going into the screenshots. And then there's another one, 2025, anyone. So I reported to Itasca police that this man was manipulating multiple different social media sites, Facebook, multiple different sites. It was weird. So I showed him proof, and when he saw that it was voyeurism crimes being committed, he walked off and left while I was talking. So I begged the police department. I said, which, we can pretty much be sure that that is indeed what's probably happening now. If the government allows this man to get away with all the things that he's gotten away with, and he's a stalker, who wouldn't? That's what stalkers do that are really, powerful and like to break the law. They set up cameras in their victims' environments. So when this police officer saw evidence that this man was indeed committing voyeurism crimes and communicating with me on fake pages, he said his camera was going off and he had to leave. And then I called them and said that he needs to come back. And that's what Galactic Unicorn posted, Miss Galactic Unicorn, a lot of the half of what was going on to conceal crimes. So then he was furious and he needed a reasoning behind setting up a false arrest. So he had Marion County, knowing that I was desperate to see my son. Parties were involved in keeping me away from my son, and I was trying to set up a strategy to come pick up my child. He was my legal custodial child, but the police department denied me law enforcement. So nonetheless, I told them I was coming to pick him up. The police officer said that I couldn't, and he was going to put a case on me, Deputy Dude from Marion County. So nonetheless, when he said that he was going to put a case on me the next day, I called the police department because I thought it was a misunderstanding, because no abuser can control all these different police departments, I thought in my head. So it just had to be a misunderstanding. So I kept calling the police department to try to get clarity and, see what was going on. The Marion County Police Department kept hanging up. I can't remember if it was sheriff or police. They kept hanging up in my face. So then I was forced to call Hillsborough, where I lived in Itasca, that county. So they did it. So I said that I keep getting hung up on. I'm forced to call 911. This man is saying that he's putting a case on me. She started an argument. It's because it was already controlled. So then they said that the only way that they could help me, even though this was my legal custodial child, is if he had medical needs. I didn't know. So I said, yeah, he has medical needs. But it's my legal custodial child that I need to get. The water's been off. They're not letting me talk to him. Things are just strange. And I wanted my child. So nonetheless, they said, don't call again, or don't call again to make any reports. And I said, well, are you denying me law enforcement? Are you saying that I can't report crimes? They said, basically, don't call again. So then I stopped calling, but they showed up anyway. So then they said that I called on the emergency line. I said, let me get my phone and show you. I called on the non-emergency line, and then they told me to stop calling. So then I tried to get my phone. The officer fell and said, you assaulted me, because they didn't want me. I didn't know that I was being set up. She said I assaulted her trying to get my phone from another area. Then this is the same other guy that walked off while I was talking. This was like 2 or 3 days later after he walked off while I was talking. So nonetheless, she said that I assaulted her to get me to stop and not get my phone. So my daughter's in the environment panicking because she's witnessing. She knows more than me about what's going on. And she sees these people, or these police are setting her mother up, 8 years old. So then they won't let me get the phone. And then they said that I was evading arrest trying to get the phone. So nonetheless, my daughter's panicking, screaming at the top of her lungs, saying, leave my mother alone. She knows what's going on. So they're taking me, and I haven't seen her or had access to her since. So they've been scamming all kind of avenues to keep me from my child, racking up felonies with no accountability. So for some reason, the prosecutors and district attorney, whatever, threw out the case of the evading arrest and assaulting the officer. Hill County would not tell me anything that was going on my case. They said that those were serious charges for torment and mind games. Come to find out, the charges were dismissed and they didn't want me to know. They wanted me to sit and marinate. Now it just escalated. I get put in lockdown for asking what's going on with my cases. The attorneys don't talk to me. Tarrant County was so crooked, they put me on lockdown so I couldn't communicate with other inmates, get any kind of knowledge, denied law library, everything that you could deny just about, and then wanted me to sit and marinate and not knowing anything. They told me I would be released in November and wasn't released till February. And they sat and let me sit and marinate and not knowing what's going on. That's part of the terror. I think that that's a pleasure for someone that's setting it up. So I try not to look at the comments, but I just want you to know what I've experienced. I did report to Itasca Police, this is where this started, that this man liked to communicate with me on fake chats. He would, I don't know why, like I said, he did it, but I'm just trying to prove that that is indeed what's happening. We see all this evidence. Who is pretending to be Jason Gardner? Why would armies full of people taunt and violate me regarding this man? Why is it so many cyberbullying sites? Is it me or is this bizarre? And when will something be done?